Yo, what's up? Bob here. Welcome to Vinyl Finds on the Bob Bradley YouTube channel. This is number 77. That's right, folks, number 77. Found some records this week, and we're going to get into them right now. Coming in hot. Bam. Shaft. Music from the soundtrack, composed and performed by, you got it, Isaac Hayes, the man, the myth.
Who's the man?
That's right. Shaft. This is a funky soundtrack. It's super funky, super psychedelic, actually. In particular, what is this track called? Do Your Thing. Holy smokes. It has an epic psychedelic guitar solo. And super funky. It's right in my sweet spot, to be perfectly honest. And I mean, this whole record is just fantastic. This is a very early pressing of the record. First pressing-ish, with the blue squared Enterprise labels, right? And, you know, Isaac Hayes, what a guy, what a guy. Fantastic stuff. They recorded this record over 3 days. They did all the rhythm tracks on the first day. They did the strings on the second day, and they came back and just vocals on the third day. So, yeah, it's spectacular. I was listening to this and I thought, this has to be the funkiest and greatest soundtrack of all time. And then Jeffrey Lee Puckett pointed out to me, what about Superfly? Yeah, Superfly. Oof, 2 incredibly funky soundtracks. Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield, funky as it gets. Maybe Superfly has the edge. Maybe. Possibly. But Shaft. So funky. But speaking of Curtis Mayfield, the Impressions found this. This Is My Country is the name of this record. Picked this up at the bookstore for $3. This is primarily an R&B record. On Curtum, that's Curtis's own record label, and this is the first Impressions release on that label. This is maybe 1968, and you know, it's a solid little record, typical R&B record.
Curtum, a division of Buddha Records,
and you know, Curtis on the front here with this nice looking Gibson acoustic guitar. Really like that. Anything on this Curtum label is pretty good, but it's mostly Curtis Mayfield stuff. See, here's the Superfly. Next, picked up a couple of these. Bam. Weather Report. I Sing the Body Electric. That's right. That's a line from a Walt Whitman poem. This is pre-Jocko. That's how I break everything Weather Report up. Pre-Jocko, Jocko era. Okay? But as you know, Joe Zawinul and Wayne Shorter are in this band, and it's still a fabulous band. Jocko or no Jocko, this is fantastic. I have all the Jocko releases, so now I'm buying all the non-Jocko releases. And I love this cover. This one's a little worn. And this is a hard record to find, actually. And it's their second record. And it's really funky and atmospheric. Definitely Weather Report. Zawinul and Shorter have very distinctive voices that when they play, you just can't get away from it. And they make a very particular sound, and it is showcased on every Weather Report record. So, yeah, I Sing the Body Electric. Really cool. On a Columbia 360. That's their second record. And then I picked up the third record. Weather Report, Sweet Nighter. Yeah. Also, pre-Jocko. And this is pretty funky, despite no Jocko. Very funky, actually. A lot of cool percussion with that 360 label as well. You know, Zalnall, they say, you know, that he would just compose entire compositions on the spot. You know, like he could just sit down and play a brand new composition and it would be completed from start to finish on the first try. Evidently that is true. But a bit of a genius, and he knew it. Wayne Shorter, it doesn't get much better than Wayne Shorter. Wayne Shorter might be my favorite jazz musician of all time. Maybe. It's possible. Sweet Nighter, Weather Report. Speaking of Jaco, Michel Colombier, right? French composer. Pretty, you know, respectable. He's also a very good pianist, you know. And in South Florida, back in the day, there was a studio down there called Criteria that a lot of people were doing a lot of recording out of. And Michel here ganged up with a bunch of really famous musicians. Let's see who all is on here. By the way, this one is a gold label promo. Not that that matters. This is a very inexpensive record. Check this out. Michael Brecker, Larry Carlton, Peter Erskine, Steve Gadd, Herbie Hancock, Jaco, Lee Ritner, Tom Scott, Jerry Knight. I mean, this thing is just packed full of, it's a murderer's row of awesome musicians. Typical fusion music, but it's pretty freaking funky, and it's got some really, I think Jaco's on every track but two, and there is some fantastic playing by Jaco on there. Typical Jaco stuff. Beautiful fretless bass sounds, and you know, fantastic melodic stuff going on. It's a must-have for any real Jaco fan. Herbie Hancock was on there. Speaking of Herbie Hancock, yeah, this is just a video full of segues right now. Let's go with this one here. Bam! Blue Note 80, Herbie Hancock taking off. Yeah, that's right. This is the first record by Herbie Hancock, and I believe the first Blue Note 80, to be honest. Just got it. Yeah, that's right. And, you know, it's fantastic. Freddie Hubbard, Dexter Gordon, killing on this. I mean, just killing. It's beautiful. It is on the Blue Note label, of course. Mastered by Kevin Gray at Coherent. And yeah, it is a wonderful pressing. If you don't have this record, you should get it. It's really, really good. I mean, it sounds fantastic. If I saw a original for a good price that was clean, I would definitely buy it. But I gotta tell you, you know, it's really hard to justify that with these Blue Note 80s out there running around. These things sound so good, they're not expensive, and I mean, they absolutely throttle the Blue Note 75 releases, and you know, they're just as good sonically as anything from Music Matters or Analog Productions or whatever. These things, Speaker's Corner, or you know, they destroy like anything like Wax Time or OJC or something like. Don't get me wrong, there's some good OJCs out there, but yeah, Blue Note 80, Herbie Hancock taking off. This thing, whew, really, really good, really good. Everybody on this playing in spectacular form. Billy Higgins on drums, killing. I mean, the mix on these things is so ridiculous. Let's move on. Inventions and Dimensions. Boom. Herbie Hancock, Blue Note 80. Again. Yeah, that's right. This is fantastic. because this is just, right, Paul Chambers and Willie Bobo Martinez. You know, you got basically percussion, drums, bass, and Herbie, right? So, Paul Chambers, obviously holding down the bass end of the spectrum, right? And the other two guys on the drums and percussion, and I think there's some timbale on here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. This is a really unique record for Herbie, and yeah, it's really spectacular if you have a nice stereo, because the way the stereo signal is done, you know, you got like shakers coming out of one speaker, and you know, it's really cool. Let's get into the last find here. Bam. Jeffrey Lee Puckett's private record sale. Lee Morgan's Cornbread, that's right. This is a fantastic, very clean Liberty pressing. You know, Jeffrey sold it to me for a good price. Very thankful of that. I didn't want him to sell it to anybody else. I had to have it. And it's super clean. I remember when he got this better than he remembers when he got it. And now it's mine. And this has a lot of the vibe of an early Blue Note. You know, it's kind of that tailored, low end, a lot of drive and power on the recording. And sounds fabulous. This is super clean pressing, by the way. And I got the Blue Note as well, the Tone Poet. Yeah, the Tone Poet series. See this? Bam, Tone Poet. And this Tone Poet here just has more low end for sure, and it's beautiful sounding. That doesn't moot this, but I can tell you this. I got this one primarily because it's so clean. If it wouldn't have been that clean, I probably wouldn't have been that interested in it. Because I have this, and this thing sounds incredible. But for the sake of comparing the two, I had to do it. And yeah, it was really interesting. I'm getting more and more into these recent Blue Note reissues. I will probably get all the Blue Note 80s for sure, and most of the Tone Poets. You know, I keep up with the original Blue Note pressing prices and stuff, and it you know, and all the other labels too, Impulse and Riverside and Verve and all that. And you know, some of these records are going for $400 and $500 in mint condition, right? You can get a lot of things in G plus for, you know, under 50, but you know, those aren't going to play very good. Okay. And Analog Productions is about to do a bunch of Impulse stuff, and hopefully they continue on to the Riverside catalog, and hopefully somebody gets into the Prestige stuff. So pretty nice stack of records. I'm pretty stoked on a lot of jazz. Obviously, we're back to jazz again this week, and I'm sitting here today once again with the 58 Stratocaster. I've been on this guitar a lot. When we finally start to rehearse again, I will probably be mostly playing this, because you know, I kind of do that. I would our first record, I was all Les Pauls and stuff, and then the second record was mostly Stratocasters and Telecasters. This last recording that we just finished is mostly humbucker guitars again, Les Pauls, 335s, etc. And so my ears are liking the sound of these single coil pickups and this Stratocaster here. So yeah, I'll probably be playing this a lot. But anyhow, I will link all my music at the end of this video, and you know, it wasn't a real easy week for finding records. There's not a lot out there right now. Anyhow, all right. until we meet again. That's right, folks. Bob out. Oh, phrase incorrect.
Yeah, so let me just do one more. You ready?
Yeah. Turn up real loud in here. As loud as we can go. It's fine.